Page 40, My Sweetheart is Plowing. They're talking here about musical form at the top of the page. In music, we analyze the music pieces, okay? Music theorists do. And so we have certain sections of music. A piece can have any number of sections. So we label the sections according to the alphabet, A, B, C, D, whatever. So section 1 is A. And any time that section appears again in the piece, and it can, it's still A. That identifies it as section A. Then B would be the next material presented. And then C after that, and so forth through the whole piece. So if you take a look at here, they're telling you at the first line is section A. That's a melody, that's a melodic line of some sort, okay? Okay, now if that appears anywhere else, it's going to be labeled A again. And it does. Look at the last line, it's the same thing. And again, you'll see it's labeled A. And that's the way it works. Then the second line is different. Okay, so that would be B, section B. And it appears again in the third line, so it's labeled B again. So in this case, it just works out to each line as a section, and that's unusual. Usually a section could be pages. It could be any number of measures long. It could be a lot longer than what they're doing here. They're doing it here real short just to give you an example. So this we would say is in ABBA form. So ABBA means, well, you get the idea. All the A's sound alike and all the B's sound alike. There's no section C. If there were, it would be in there too. To give you an example of a rondo form, a rondo form is an A, B, A, C, A, D, A, whatever, A. A is in between each of the other sections that differ. And A is the only section that actually repeats. So when you see that, when you see a rondo, you know it's going to be A, whatever material's at the beginning of that rondo is going to happen again and again, but in between, when it happens, it's going to be different, and it'll be different every time, and that's a rondo form. Different things you have sonata form, you have all kinds of different forms where they follow specific patterns of these sections. It's kind of interesting in a way, if you're into that sort of thing. And that's what they're doing here, and that's really all they're doing here, as far as presenting anything new. Let's try this out. It's in the key of G major, which means all the F's are going to be sharped, so F sharps. At the beginning of this, let's talk about right hand, okay? At the beginning of this, you got staccatos in the right hand. Watch the thumb, and that last note in the first measure is the thumb. Then it's legato, very contrasting. In the second line, in the third measure, first G is played with the thumb. Then the second G, you see they have the fourth finger. And you may have to practice that. You have to be able to do that. Because that puts you in position for what's coming. You finish out the second line here. Then the third line, you have a B. Just stretch your hand out a little bit and get it. It's a new phrase, so you lift the hand up and drop it for the... Don't connect them. But you don't have to look down for that once you have a feel of what that is. Alright. And the third line is just like the second line. And then the last line is just like the first line. So really, once you've learned the first two lines, you got all four lines learned, because the other lines are just pretty much a repeat of the other lines. Now what they might do from time to time is they'll change them slightly. There might be one note that's different, and they'll still call it the same section identification. So you can't just assume, okay, it's the same, I only need to learn the first two lines. You need to look at the other lines and see if there's anything different, because there could be some little thing that's different. Anyway, common time, 4/4 time. Let's try it out. I give us 4 counts and we'll play it together. So the right hand here, left hand here, and we're ready to go. 1, 2, ready, go. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3. Two, three, four. Two, three, four. Two, four. Two, three.